The Graduate Institute's Geneva Trade Platform proudly presents e-commerce terminology for trade negotiators.
So before I explain open internet access, it's worth mentioning this is very poorly understood by most people with very low awareness in day-to-day business and private life. Ensuring internet access is open for most people in the world is a challenge solved by someone else, mainly large infrastructure telecom companies. Examples include Openreach British Telecom, Verizon, AT&T, Spark Telecom New Zealand. These companies pay for the rights to and pay to install and maintain the fixed infrastructure that allows internet data flows. As Dimitri mentioned, open internet access is also known as net neutrality. It's best described with a metaphor as the idea that the internet must be like an open road network where we all can drive identical cars, where we can go wherever we like and do whatever we like. It is not a road network with gated areas, checkpoints, go slow areas, and toll roads where you are constantly having to pay with money and time to move around. So to be more specific, if I have a business on the internet doing anything, can my customers accessing my website do it on an identical basis as every other aspect of my and their other internet use? Can I do everything online on an equal basis to everyone else in the world? Or can someone pay to reach my site quicker? Can I pay for them to? Do I have to pay for the use of internet traffic, mine or my customers, in addition to the hosting fees, for example, that I pay for someone to store the data that is my website? Are local content delivery networks already a stealth threat to the open internet? Amazon can already pay Google to make sure their listings are at the top of their search results, for an example. But imagine if the state of California, and I'm just using this as an example, or any region anywhere in the world, could ensure all businesses paying taxes in their region had higher visibility and faster online presence to traffic coming from anywhere worldwide, or that the web traffic to all websites of businesses not domiciled in their region was delivered slower to their own residents. Although most of the world takes this for granted, the internet is not open in many countries, and net neutrality is a contentious issue in some of the world's larger economies, where it is currently relatively open. Remember, this is not simply a matter of internet use as we understand it, when we browse the web, when we buy online as consumers, but with cloud computing taking over from edge computing, when everything we do is increasingly online and data is increasingly stored in the cloud, this has the potential to affect every other issue we're talking about today. Building a global high bandwidth internet infrastructure is extremely expensive and is currently funded by the infrastructure businesses and not the users. So what are known as over-the-top plays benefit from this. So for example, an online streaming company, for example, earns immense profits, very high margin from selling services from streaming movies provided over networks that they're not paying for, and nor are we as their customers. No telco, no business can afford to invest in a full infrastructure that gets them everywhere. So in practice, they partner with competitors in tight regulatory environments, using wholesaling agreements that are siloed from their main business functions to ensure customer coverage. And this is enormously inefficient and expensive. This infrastructure is also changing rapidly too, under threat, you might say, as for example, SpaceX put up satellites to bypass this, along with other companies. I just picked them out of the sky because they happen to be in the headlines at the moment. Pardon the pun. Currently, the last mile, think about the delivery of fiber to your door through the digging up of your road, is almost always physical, and it will be probably for many years to come. Although, as I've mentioned, it is increasingly becoming superseded in the next decade. Open internet is immensely expensive, but who is going to continue to pay for it? Net neutrality is a great phrase, but it is under threat economically. Over to you, Eunice.
Okay, so in trade agreements so far, there haven't been any hard obligations to adopt net neutrality principles or obligations. The way it's been treated so far is really a mere recognition of the benefits to the consumer's ability to access and use services, of one's choice on the internet, to connect your device, your mobile phone or your iPad to the internet, provided that it doesn't harm the network. To access information, on basically your internet service providers, network management practices. Now, how this interacts, from a trade perspective, is really, that without some kind of acknowledgement of the open internet and net neutrality principles, technically, sort of internet services providers can discriminate against certain content providers, whether foreign or domestic. And in trade law terms, then this would distort the playing field and sort of add additional friction to this kind of cross-border trade.
Thank you for following this course on Open Internet Access. Additional readings and materials are available below. You can also ask questions and discuss the course with fellow students using the link below. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and stay up to date with the Geneva Trade Platform.